Tonight, Labor takes back the lead as One Nation slips in the polls. Good evening, I'm Kyle Dowling. This is ABC News, Northern Territory. Also tonight, an NT parole worker who helped a convicted killer avoids jail. Cash for more containers, wine bottles and milk cartons added to the list. Billy Slater's bombshell, he won't sign another contract to be Maroon's coach. And showing them how it's done, the cowgirl who took home the most prized win at the Brunette Downs races. The federal opposition has sunk to a new low in the latest opinion polls, prompting calls for a party rebrand, while Angus Taylor pleads for more time. Labor is once again the most popular party according to the poll, as it pushes its beefed-up social media ban through Parliament. Here's National Affairs correspondent Jane Norman.
So thank you.
Well, thank you, Ben.
Backed by advocates of Australia's teen social media ban, the government's taking on tech titans and talking tough.
We won't blink on this.
We are not stopping.
We will defeat the tech giants.
But 6 months after the ban started, kids are getting around it, and not a single platform has been penalised for failing to comply. So Labor's introducing new laws, doubling fines for companies to $99 million and giving the E-Safety Commissioner stronger powers.
We're calling time on the social media companies.
And calling on the coalition to back the bill.
The government has made a complete hash of this social media ban.
But it's no doubt buoyed by the latest polls. Highlighting the volatile political environment, Newspoll and Redbridge Group have Labor back in front, with support for One Nation slipping.
I think that press club speech was a bit of a reality check for a lot of Australians who were thinking about voting for One Nation.
But the clearer trend emerging is the collapse in support for the Liberals. Now firmly in third place, its primary vote hitting another low. Increasing pressure on the party's leader.
You can't turn around a tanker in a few months.
And prompting calls for sweeping change.
I think it's time for the Liberal Party to rebrand itself. Some people think that we're stuck in the past.
Yes, we're at a low, but I would be very hesitant about walking away from the Liberal Party as a brand.
While Angus Taylor grapples with how to respond to One Nation, his one-time rival Andrew Hastie has made his views clear, telling his colleagues to go to war with the Ascendant Party and revealing he's been personally targeted by its backers.
So much so that Tony Burke called me about 2 weeks ago and let me know that I have to get more security for my family home and for my office. So it's personal.
He knows a thing or two about combat. Jane Norman, ABC News, Canberra.
A former Alice Springs parole worker caught helping a convicted killer evade authorities has avoided jail time. Samantha Alampi was today sentenced to 5 months home detention and a 12-month community corrections order after pleading guilty to attempting to pervert the course of justice. The Chief Justice said Alampi formed a grossly inappropriate relationship with the then 19-year-old prisoner and actively assisted him for several days when he removed an ankle monitor in 2024. The court considered Alampi to be genuinely remorseful and a low risk of reoffending. Northern Territory residents will receive a 10-cent refund when they recycle wine and spirit bottles under the NT's container deposit scheme from next month. The expansion will allow Territorians to receive refunds for most other beverage containers with a volume of up to 3 litres, including milk bottles and cartons. The Northern Territory is among the first Australian jurisdictions to provide refunds for larger containers. Western Australia is expanding its container recycling program as well. The Northern Territory Chief Minister will consider allowing 16-year-olds to buy OC spray as a 12-month trial nears its end. People aged 18 and above have been able to purchase and carry OC spray for personal protection since September. Since then, only one person has been charged with unlawful use of legally purchased OC spray.
I'm looking at it and you know what, Katie? People thought it was a big call bringing it in and I stared them all down and the sky didn't fall in and the world didn't explode and everyone who thought it was the end of the universe because we're bringing in OC spray, I proved them wrong.
Startling new numbers of Australian rules footballers have been diagnosed with CTE, a degenerative brain disease diagnosed after death. Until now, 5 Aussie rules players have been known to have CTE, but Four Corners has discovered the number is actually more than 6 times higher and includes a player who was just 23 when he died.
Nick Loudon was a talented Australian rules footballer, winning a premiership in the South Australian League. But more than a decade playing the game and a severe concussion when he was 17 had permanently altered him.
He did say, "What is wrong with my brain?"
Nick suffered for several years and in 2023 died by suicide. The Loudon family donated Nick's brain to research and was shocked to be told he'd been living with a degenerative brain disease called CTE.
Yeah, we were really gobsmacked.
Michael Buckland has studied the brains of 60 former Australian rules players. Until now, the public's known of 5 with CTE. He's confirmed that's risen to 33 players. CTE is caused by repeated trauma to the head and body. While concussions contribute to it, CTE is mainly caused by smaller impacts.
Most of those won't give you any signs or symptoms. They'll just be part of the rough and tumble of the game. But each of one of those is doing microscopic damage.
But when asked about the figures today, Geelong coach Chris Scott played them down.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's of concern to me, but it is of interest to me.
The AFL says safety is its highest priority and that it keeps its players informed.
Every year our Chief Medical Officer will educate our players on everything from the reporting of symptoms, the management of concussions, the long-term risks, and there's education and training that's conducted annually.
And on health advice, today champion player Chelsea Randall announced her retirement, saying even small impacts had started causing concussion issues.
I only have one brain, so it's time I just put the playing to rest.
The AFL has announced it will limit tackling and training sessions by the end of the year. Jessica Halloran, ABC News.
In a remote island community in the Northern Territory, a group of Aboriginal knowledge holders and researchers have joined forces to get more support for cultural birthing practices. They've created a co-op of Yolngu doulas, or birth coaches, and their journey has been tracked in a new documentary that's premiered in Darwin.
A dance of celebration, the culmination of years of work. This film follows Galawinku elder Lawerpa Maipalama as she sets up an Aboriginal doula service, a first for her community.
We were trying to get that knowledge of people who has forgotten the way we birth child on country.
Maipalama gives a glimpse into her journey, navigating ancestral knowledge, employment laws and cultural survival to create the Jakamia, a group of accredited Yolngu doulas.
They go through the worries, through the pregnant. They worry. How we can help them? We are lucky as a Jagami. We can walk with them through the park until they can reach the Yoto. Yoto means is the baby.
In a region that has some of the highest preterm birth rates in the country, there are now more than a dozen Jakamia, centring culture and support during and after pregnancy.
Taking me out to work, help me clean up, go hunting.
While Maipalama opened to a sold-out crowd this week, the next step is securing funding to build birthing on country facilities.
There's a whole range of really important cultural outcomes from that, but for our government and our policymakers and all of us who pay tax, we should also be thinking about the potential for cost savings.
A moment of respite amid a trailblazing journey. Tilda Colling, ABC News.
It might just be the country's most remote race meet, but distance is no deterrent for the hundreds of people who travel across the tropical north to an outback cattle station each year for the Brunette Downs races. Along with the rodeo, camp draft and bush party, the main event is the district bred Gold Cup, and this year a young female jockey was determined to teach the boys a thing or two and follow in her mother's footsteps in the winner's circle.
Winning feels exciting. It's probably the best feeling, yeah. I'm hoping to win the District Gold Cup. It's been on my bucket list for a while, so hopefully I can cross that one off. When I realised that I could be a jockey was watching Mum, like she's been a jockey here for a while. I was like, I really want to give that a go. I've been racing for about 4 or 5 years now. What's inspired me to race would be, just Mum and Pop. Like I just want to do what they did pretty much. I changed my outfit because this is Mum's dad's silks, racing silks. So Poppy, this is his racing silks. My mum won the District Gold Cup in 1999 and this is the main race I want to win today to cross it off the bucket list.
And I was riding the Baldy Bay and they got me to ride in the bracelet and we run a real good race, so he kept me on it in the cup and we came home and won it.
No, I don't get threatened by the guys. They're very competitive, but they don't make it scary or anything.
She'll beat the boys, don't worry about that. She's got plenty of brothers, so she knows how to handle them.
I felt amazing winning the Gold Cup, really good, thank you.
It just means everything to people in the horses racing. That's what got us into bringing horses here, because we'd hate to see it die because it just means so much.
As far as I remember, it's just always been the best feeling, and don't ever want to lose it. And I'll probably keep on riding as long as I can too.
A massive international search and rescue effort is continuing. An earthquake hit Venezuela, but hopes of finding survivors are fading by the hour. The official death toll has now risen above 1,450, but is expected to climb significantly, with tens of thousands of people still unaccounted for.
Against all odds, a young boy and his father survived.
Just want to take a quick look.
After being buried alive under the rubble. But as time drags on, stories like these are becoming increasingly rare. The golden 72-hour rescue window has now passed, one nurse explains, as her focus moves to comforting the families of victims. We started digging with our bare hands, says this survivor. She knows her family members are no longer alive, but just wants to be able to see them again. Thousands of foreign rescue workers have begun arriving in Venezuela.
All the way down there.
International politics put aside at a time of disaster.
Anyone who requests or proposes to help us is welcome here with great pleasure, and we will be grateful forever.
But as hope fades, anger grows. The government, headed by Delcy Rodriguez since Nicolas Maduro was ousted by the US in January, coming under fire for its slow response.
The government decided to close the streets, making it harder to bring help.
Many can't return home as hundreds of aftershocks threaten those buildings still standing. Among so much death, new life. A baby boy born in the street just hours after the quake. His auntie and cousins among the tens of thousands still missing. And with every passing hour, the chance of finding them alive grows slimmer. Lauren Day, ABC News.
The US and Iran have agreed to once again stop missile strikes and renew peace talks after a flare-up of fighting that was threatening to derail negotiations. Let's bring in our correspondent Bridget Rollison in Jerusalem. Bridget, where does this leave the peace talks now?
Good evening, Carl. Well, US officials say that both sides have agreed to stand down and stop attacks as they try to get this fragile 60-day ceasefire deal back on track. So these strikes really centred around issues in the Strait of Hormuz. The biggest issue seems to be that Iran doesn't want to give up control of that waterway and it wants to dictate how ships get through so it can continue to use the strait as a bargaining chip in its negotiations with the US. Now, the US, of course, doesn't want this. This would be a huge concession for them because it's not something that was in place before this conflict started. Now, we are hearing that Iranian and US officials are meant to meet in Qatar tomorrow to try to resolve this dispute in the Strait as they work towards fleshing out a deal for lasting peace. Kyle.
Thanks, Bridget. Australia and Vanuatu have signed a long-awaited strategic pact almost 10 months after the Pacific nation pulled out of a planned signing ceremony with Anthony Albanese. The government is claiming it as a strategic victory in the permanent contest with China in the Pacific, even though parts of it have been watered down. Here's Foreign Affairs reporter Stephen Jedgetts.
Some things take time.
Keep going.
After a painful wait,
Seriously, how hard is it?
Jotham Napat arrives in Parliament.
Yeah, very welcome.
And the much-delayed Nakamal Agreement is finally signed, cementing a new relationship.
Mutual respect, trust and understanding.
The first version was given initial approval atop a volcano almost a year ago, before Vanuatu hit pause. Since then, the two sides have wrangled over the text, with Australia trying to lock China out of critical infrastructure and policing, and Vanuatu trying to maintain room for manoeuvre.
Australia and Vanuatu are close neighbours, trusted partners and enduring friends.
Today's agreement a clear compromise. Vanuatu will consult with Australia if outside powers invest in critical infrastructure, and will come to the Pacific and Australia first on policing.
Importantly, this agreement advances the consensus that security is the shared responsibility of the Pacific family.
Australia will spend around $500 million on this agreement over a decade or more, with that money being ploughed into Vanuatu's key development priorities. It's true this pact is largely about stopping China, but helping Vanuatu develop its economic future is an imperative that goes well beyond that. Stephen Jedgetts, ABC News, Canberra.
It's always a risky business, but staging big-budget musicals in Australia is sending more producers into the red. 3 major productions have been forced to cancel or scale back tours this year. The latest is the Broadway hit Waitress, which has axed its Sydney shows and will now end in Melbourne.
A story of resilience. Thank you. But it wasn't enough to keep the final curtain at bay.
It's just devastating, and I think speaks to just how insecure and dire, our industry is.
Producers say challenging economic conditions forced them to axe the Sydney run. The show will now finish up in Melbourne.
It's showtime!
It follows the abrupt cancellation of Beetlejuice last week in Brisbane. It had planned an extensive tour of Sydney, Perth and Adelaide. And back in January, Back to the Future scrapped plans for a national schedule after a 4-month leg in Sydney. Rising production and transport costs are increasingly threatening the viability of big-budget live theatre.
When we're talking about touring and the decision whether to take these shows on the road, the cost of moving sets and people has really gone through the roof.
And as audiences struggle with increasing costs of their own, the box office is suffering.
They don't have as much disposable income, so they're having to make hard choices about where they spend it, and they might not be able to take a risk on a new show.
Theatres say ticket sales are still going strong for musicals with songs that audiences know and love, like The Lion King. It's the lesser-known storylines that are proving to be a harder sell. Sometimes the show just can't go on. Tamsin Buckle, ABC News, Sydney.
To finance now, and the oil price stayed around $70 a barrel today, despite the new outbreak of hostilities in the Middle East. Here's Alan Kohler.
You might have expected the oil price to go up more than that after the US and Iran traded missile strikes. But oil futures traders knew that it wouldn't last, or at least they thought it wouldn't. And sure enough, a US official speaking on condition of anonymity this morning said both sides had agreed to stand down. Although that hasn't been confirmed yet by somebody prepared to reveal their name, so we'll see. The number of ships getting through the Strait went up after the Memorandum of Understanding was signed last week, and then it went down again when an Iranian drone blew in the windows of the bridge on a container ship known as the Ever Lovely, because insurance is now hard to get, of course. Anyway, as discussed, the oil market is fairly relaxed about it all, and the price is roughly where it was on Friday and well down on the price at the start of last week. The share market here went up a bit. The biggest rise was Neuron Pharmaceuticals after the European Committee that examines drugs for use in the EU has said it will recommend Neuron's treatment for Rett syndrome, a rare neurodevelopment disorder that affects female children. Now, the drug doesn't cure it, but alleviates the symptoms so the kids can communicate, among other things, and has to be taken for life. It's already being sold in the United States for $375,000 per year, subsidised by the government, of course. The Aussie dollar stayed under 69 US cents, and the US market was slightly weaker on Friday, followed by mixed performances in Asia today. Now, finally, the Bank for International Settlements put out a report yesterday titled Progress and Peril, in which it warned that the AI boom could turn into a bust. And it compared this one to a few previous manias. According to this graph, it wouldn't be too bad if it turned out to be like the dot-com boom or the railway mania or the electrification in the roaring 20s. But let's hope it's not like the canal mania in England between 1790 and 1810 when, yep, they went nuts building canals. And that's finance.
Still to come this hour, from controversy to the check-in counter inside Australia's new 24-hour airport set to operate without air traffic controllers. That's next on 7:30 with Sarah Ferguson, straight after the news. The Socceroos player Lucas Harrington has gone from teenage superfan to World Cup defender in just 4 years. Harrington made his Cup debut against Paraguay and showed the composure that's wowed many pundits. And the Queenslander has taken it all in his stride as he prepares for a World Cup knockout match against Egypt. National sport reporter David Mark is at the Socceroos training base in Oakland, California.
He's the 18-year-old who made an immediate impression for the Socceroos.
I definitely wasn't picturing this when I left Australia 6 months ago.
That was when the former Brisbane Roar defender transferred to Colorado in the US.
The teenager also with his first.
Just 4 years ago, he was a kid, cheering on the Socceroos with his mates.
I've been supporting the Socceroos to the World Cup for the past couple World Cups, so it's really special to be here.
Some in the squad are seeking retribution against their round of 32 opponents, Egypt, the team that knocked the Olyroos out of the 2021 Olympics.
Yeah, they ruined our dream. So, yeah, I guess you could say it's a bit of a revenge.
Who strained his hamstring against Iran.
There's been fevered speculation amongst pundits and fans about the players Tony Popovic should choose for each match the Socceroos play. But the man himself is refusing to comment on his selections. So when do the players themselves find out who's starting?
Maybe 2 days before the game, because that's when we really need to work on, the finer details.
Next up for Canada is the Netherlands or Morocco in the round of 16.
Billy Slater has delivered a coaching shock days out from trying to steer Queensland to consecutive Origin Shield victories. The Maroons' mentor confirmed he won't be signing a contract extension, instead opting for old-school methods if he's to continue on.
Doctors had deemed his Origin series over, but Pat Carrigan is back with the Maroons.
If Pat Carrigan wasn't in this footy team, he'd be looking to play for the Broncos this weekend.
The forward had ankle surgery just 25 days ago. Billy Slater's happy to take the risk.
That's a fair call. Anyone that's been involved with him knows what sort of professional he is, and he'll be right to play.
Lindsay Collins will miss the decider with concussion. Queensland's only changes are to its bench.
These jerseys don't come really easy, so you got to earn them.
We can't just turn up and expect the continuity of the team and being familiar with the number on your back and being there last game.
As for Billy Slater's last game in charge of the Maroons,
I don't think so, but I don't know. I won't be signing another contract. This is not a contract job for me.
Maroons' mentor confirming he'll continue only on a handshake basis with the QRL as he prepares to win a fourth Shield in his 5th series in charge.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it might surprise you, but it's that's how it is.
Laurie Daly's made 6 changes as pressure continues to mount on his future at the helm of the Blues.
If anyone thinks I'm not going to be as prepared as I've ever been to coach a footy side in this game, they'll be shocked.
Jessica Stewart, ABC News.
England cricket captain Ben Stokes has played his final Test innings after announcing his retirement from international cricket. The news was announced during play on day 4 of the third Test against New Zealand. Rounder didn't looking forward to finishing his career at his boyhood country cricket side Durham.
There's relief, there's happiness, there's excitement, there's sadness.
Right now I am buzzing because of this, but there's been moments this week where it's been really tough, and I sort of think again that just adds to everything, and it really makes it very clear in your mind that you're probably making the right decision.
To Formula One, and Oscar Piastri was very happy with his 4th place finish at the Austrian Grand Prix overnight. The Aussie started 7th on the grid and breezed past Lando Norris and both of the Ferraris, who struggled for pace. Max Verstappen was the other big mover, finishing 2nd, his best result of the season. George Russell held on to win from pole, closing the gap on his Mercedes teammate Kimi Antonelli in the Drivers' Championship, while Piastri climbs to 4th in the overall standings.
Barcelona was a big struggle, and had some things to learn and improve on from there, and I feel like this weekend's been a massive improvement from that.
Australia will play the West Indies in the semi-finals of the Women's T20 World Cup after a record run chase that knocked India out of the tournament. Set 171 for victory, Elise Perry and Ash Gardner's half-century steered the side to a 6-wicket win at Lord's in London. It's the highest successful run chase in Women's T20 World Cup history. England and South Africa are also still alive in the tournament, with the finals set for next Monday morning Australian time. Australian golfer Chris Davidson has finished in a tie for 12th at the Women's PGA Championship in Minnesota. The 27-year-old carded a final round of 73 to finish at 5 under for the tournament. South Korean Haran Yo won the tournament by 2 shots. Rising middle distance star Cam Myers has shattered the Australian 1500-metre record to win gold at the Paris Diamond League. The 20-year-old stopped the clock at 3 minutes and 28 seconds, the fastest time in the world this year. Looking at the weather now, and tonight's weather pick of a storm front at Mount Gillen has been sent in by Sophie Broughton-Cunningham. And you can send us your weather photos to weatherpicsnt@abc.net.au. There was patchy cloud across the NT, and cloud around the south of the Territory had embedded thunderstorms today. It was 31 in Darwin, 33 at Berry Springs. In the rest of the Territory, 33 for Katherine, 29 in Nhulunbuy and Jabiru, 34. Alice Springs reached 18, Yulara 20 and Tennant Creek 29. On the satellite, patchy cloud developed across the NT today. Cloud around Central Australia had embedded thunderstorms. A cold front is moving across the southwest of the country, and a trough is tracking over New South Wales and Victoria. Interstate tomorrow, wet conditions in the capital cities, Hobart 14, easing showers in Melbourne, Canberra expecting rain, Sydney 21 with a shower or 2, Brisbane reaching 22, 17 in Adelaide, and for Perth, showers and a chance of a morning storm. Around the Territory tomorrow, Alice Springs 27 and partly cloudy, 26 for Papunya, a bit of cloud for Tennant Creek. Further north, Katherine partly cloudy and 33, 32 at Mataranka and a shower or 2 for Nhulunbuy. Out of the west, partly cloudy for Dundee Beach, and in Darwin tomorrow, a possible shower with a top of 30 degrees. There's a morning high tide at 7 o'clock and a low tide at 12:45 in the afternoon. The sun will rise tomorrow at 7 minutes past 7 and set at 6:33. And more humid conditions ahead for Darwin. There is a slight chance of showers likely overnight or early in the morning, and a bit of cloud expected to hang around for Alice Springs, with showers and a cool change forecast for the weekend. And stay with us now. Sarah Ferguson is up next with 7:30. Good night.